Hi friends, welcome to Lisa Lynn Layouts. This is Lisa and I'm sharing a layout today that is a double page 12 by 12 layout made using just a 6 by 6 paper pad, a couple pieces of cardstock and ephemera, as well as some doodle pops. This collection is the Doggone Cute Collection by Doodlebug. You will want to stay to the end of the video as there is a special guest audio added at the end. Here, I'm just going through all of the die cut pieces, sorting out into this acrylic tray, items that I think I might use on this layout, and then some of the bigger pieces I put to the side. Next, I'm going to sort through the pages, which this pad actually has 2 of each pattern and they are double-sided, so I have a lot of opportunities there. I am using a sketch and I will share the link to where I purchased the sketch. It is a purchased package of sketches that are intended for using 6 by 6 paper pads to do a 12 by 12 layout, and you will see at the end how great that worked out. It doesn't even look like it was a 6 by 6 paper that I used. So here I am cutting down my photos. I had pre-printed them in the sizes that I needed. This layout is going to be all about bringing my new puppy home. This was from back in May. He is much bigger now, but definitely enjoy having him around. So looking forward to this layout. All right, so now I'm actually really looking at the patterns to see which ones are going to work together. So looking for some patterns that I can use as photo mats, and then also patterns that I can use for the background paper and design of the layout. So I am making the cuts that I need for the photo mats. There are a couple photos that are matted on this layout and a few that are not matted. So I'm just putting those kind of together to get an idea of where, what colors will coordinate together for those. Now I have picked my 5 main papers that I want to use for this layout, so I'm going to go ahead and start cutting the strips that I need. I need 2 1 by 6 inch strips, and then I need some 1-inch squares. So I am cutting those. I didn't realize at the time, but I actually needed 3 1-inch squares, and I'm sorry, 4 1-inch squares, and I only cut 2. So I will have to go back and cut more off of those scrap strips later on. Now I have decided that I want to use this light blue pattern paper as my backgrounds. However, when I lay these strips on it, I realized that the pattern is too close. It's not going to show up. So I flipped the strip over and it had this lovely polka dot on it. So I start with that, then laying them out. So this is going to be the left side of my page. So I'm laying out the strips the way that I will have them. I don't realize it at the time, but I do not have all the strips there on my mat, so I will see when I get a little bit further in gluing them on that my photos don't line up and don't fit, and it takes me a moment, but I do figure out that there are some strips laying there just to the side that are not present on my layout. The other thing I do is I switch around these 2 patterns because the 2 patterns that were busiest were next to each other, and I felt like it would make more sense if they were not directly next to each other. So here I am first putting down my first photo. There's supposed to be a 4 by 6 photo right above that, but of course that's not going to fit. So just figuring out like what went wrong here, and I realized that strip was missing, so I had to put that on there. And then I realized there's another strip missing, and I count them and realize, oh, yep, I am missing the other polka dot strip as well. So I have to reorder them a little bit so that they are in order because I have five and then 5 in the same pattern. So once I get those on, then I can finally put my photos where they belong. And then the next portion is taking these little 1-inch strips and So I did have to cut um, 4 of each color because 2 go on this page and then 2 are going to go on the opposing page. So you can see here how this sketch actually makes it look like the strip is a long strip going all the way across when really they're just cut from those 6x6 paper pads. So that's really a great way to make a 6x6 piece of paper go a long way. Now I'm cutting photo mats. I love this paper with the dogs on it. I do end up not using this photo mat because I felt like it didn't pop as well. However, watching it now in the video, I feel like it does show up just fine. But in any case, I end up using a different piece of paper. I pulled out that yellow sheet because I thought that would be great for my title because it really does pop a lot. I think there's little dots on it. It's hard to tell from the video, but I think that worked really well as a title. And then I wanted to put a mat on the other page in that same color. So here I am getting started on the right side of the page. So I have a orange photo mat there that I'm putting directly next to, lined up with the strips on the left side of the page. And then I'm sorting through my other pictures. I have a bunch of 3x3 photos. I'm actually going to use a flip flap as well. So there's my little flip flap. So I'm putting my little photos in there so that they will be able to flip up and have extra photos underneath. I did have so many photos that I love about from this day and week of getting our puppy. So I wanted to include as many as I could. Here I am using that yellow sheet of paper to cut a very small photo mat. It's going to be a 3x3. I'm putting a little photo that I have cut down a little bit smaller than 3x3 to put on that. And then our family photo goes on the top. I did feel like it needed a mat because I wanted to draw attention to it a little bit more. So I am looking through my paper at different mat options. I do select this one, and so I'm cutting my photo a little bit smaller than 4x6 and then putting it on a 4x6 mat because the paper is a 6x6 paper pad, so it can't go bigger than 6 inches. So made my photo a little bit smaller and put it on there, and I think that border just adds a little extra to it. Here I'm cutting my other strips because um, as I mentioned before, I did not cut enough, so I don't have any for the right side on my page. So I need 2 of each color. I did cut 4 of that green one because that is a double-sided one that I'm using the other side as well. So the other side is those paw print patterns. So next I'm going to put those on the page, and apologies you can't see the bottom of the page, but I am starting from the bottom and moving up there in the same order that I did on the left side of the page. Next, I'm moving the right side away so that I can focus on the left side as far as my title and embellishing goes. I did decide to die cut Kion's name. That is my puppy's name, Kion. He is named after the lion cub in The Lion Guard, anyone who is a Disney Junior fan. So we named him that after a lot of deliberation. But I am going to die cut these. This is a die set that is from Close to My Heart. Unfortunately no longer available anymore because Close to My Heart of course went out of business, but I do love this as a very basic alpha, and so I'm going to cut 3 times for this title so that I can stack them and have a thicker chipboard looking title for his name. So I cut 2 out of yellow, and then I figure I'll just use one of the other scrap papers I have and cut some out of this pink because I can put that on the bottom and it won't show on the layout itself. So I take all these out of there. I am using a die cut machine that is from Stampin' Up. This is the little one. I like it because it's just so portable and easy to use. So I like to use it for these little things like titles. Next, I'm taking my glue and going to glue these together. This is my favorite glue. it's Nouveau glue, and recently I got this dispenser for it that I just love because it just makes it so easy to put out. It's got a microfine tip so I can get it just where I need it, and so it really works well for these little things. Once I finish gluing the title together, I do have this bone die that I am thinking I might use for my title. I was looking for a title that said welcome. I found one that said hello in a summer stamp set, so I decided to use the hello instead of welcome. It did not fit on the bone. The bone was an outline and then the inside of it cut out as well. So I think about just using that as a background. I end up deciding just to stamp the hello directly on the green strip on my layout and not use the bone at all. So I put that aside for another project. For the stamping, I decided to use my stamping platform so that I can get a nice crisp stamp. So I pull in my platform, which is actually one of the ones from Stampin' Up. And so I am using my platform and my ink here to um, double stamp my hello, so it comes out nice and crisp on that layout. And then just laying out my title, I'm going to look now for the photos again. Here's where I decide actually to switch out one of the photo mats for um, a red color, just to draw in more of that red. And then so laying out my photos, um, I also now look through and I find this little strip laying there of the little dogs, and I love it so much. I'm like, oh, I have to use this somewhere. So I glue it on the bottom of my photo mat, cut down my photo just a tiny bit so that it will fit now above that little strip. I love it. It just adds a little pop of that color that I originally wanted there, as well as those little dogs. Now I'm going to look through the other sheets, which have strips and sentiments and journaling spots, to see what might work for this layout. I do want to put a little something above that picture of Kion in his puppy cage. So I do cut out a little top of a tag that I will have poking out of the top of there. I think it adds a little extra pop of red there and ties the whole thing together. So now I'm going to glue those on. As I'm gluing my title down, I am looking in the die cuts to see what I can put in and around the title to just add a little more interest to it. I do pick a paw print to put there, and I'm looking at the bones to see what I can put on the right side. I do end up choosing one of those bones to put over there. A couple other elements that I think work well with this layout. These little puppies playing in the trees. I love the colors of this collection. It really ties everything together. Here I'm looking at the doodle pops to see if there's some place I can put them on there. I do decide that not on this page, but hopefully I can use one of them on the right side. I do now look at the journaling, and the 6x6 pad has these little teeny tiny journaling spots. But really, all I wanted to say about this layout is that it was May 2025, and that we brought Kion home to be part of our family. So I do add just a teeny tiny tag to put that detail. This will go in his scrapbook album, so it will be all about Kion, and this will be kind of the intro page to that album. Moving over to the right side of the page, I'm going to embellish a little bit on this side. I do decide that the little golden retriever doodle pop is perfect, so I'm going to put him right up there with that family photo just to add a little more pop to that area. And then going through my die cuts again, looking at these tags once more, just looking at what else I can put on this page. The page is already pretty busy with photos, but I do want to add some of these additional elements. So I am cutting out a little tag. I can't remember what it says now. I believe it's something about welcome home. So I am putting that there with that die cut of the dog at the bottom, just to add a little bit more extra there. And then tucking a little tree behind there. I will have to trim a little bit off of the tree because it does stick off the page. I love this little speech bubble with the little bone in it. So I'm like, where can I put that? And I think that it just goes perfectly to this very silly picture of Kion with his feet all in his food and water dish. I am now adding these 3 little hearts to the left side of the page to finish it off. I do have hearts on the right side with the doodle pop, so I think that this adds just a little bit of extra to the left side. And then there we have it. That is the finished layout. I am really happy with how it came out. The flip flap will go on the right side and flip up and down. That will go on the outside of the page protector once I get this layout into an album. So here is the finished layout, and I thank you for joining. Please subscribe if you are not already. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And here is a special treat from my daughter, Lily.
Mama, look, there's me. And Time was a baby.
Yeah.
She so cute a lot. Mama, look, you holding a baby Kion. Wow, that is fancy.
Yeah.
I like Princess Kion. Whoa. But look, Mama, I was in the butt. These pictures are so great. Look, that was cute, Mama. Mama was happy. Those pictures are fancy. Look there, Mama.